Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Explore Charles County. I'm your host, Ashley Chenault, Chief of Tourism for the Department of Recreation, Parks, and Tourism. Fall is quickly approaching, and we are excited to talk to Serenity Farms about their annual fall festivals and all things here at the farm. So one of my favorite things about Serenity Farm is just how serene it is. It's 275 acres of beauty, and it overlooks the Patuxent River. It is one of the best views in the county. So I'm joined by Mr. Franklin Robinson. Franklin, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Good. Glad you're here.
And we are here at Serenity Farms. Can you talk to us a little bit about your family-owned business?
Sure.
Family-owned and operated?
Yes. So my family purchased Serenity Farm in 1965, and we were originally a tobacco farming family.
Okay.
And then we took the tobacco buyout, and we have transitioned into agritourism, and we have a rental venue that is in one of our older tobacco barns, and we also have a historic burial ground, and then we do have a rescue animal petting pen.
Oh, wow. And what animals are in your petting pen?
Well, we have llamas, goats, a blind sheep, as a matter of fact, mini horses, and a rooster, and almost anything that folks come and drop off.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So people can come and drop off animals?
Yes,
Okay.
they do have to call first because animals do have to be vaccinated and have their shots and papers and that sort of thing to be part of the petting pen.
And what annual events do you have here, Franklin?
Well, first of all, we have the Southern Maryland Sunflower Festival that we host for the Farm Heritage Conservancy, and that's the Labor Day weekend every year. That is an annual event. We have hosted the Buy Local Challenge for the Southern Maryland Agricultural Development Commission before, and we also do private events as well. We do tours by appointment. We do a lot of school tours in the spring and a lot in the fall. We have harvest days in October, and that is where families can come out and take a hay ride, get to know the farm a little bit, pick a pumpkin, and just have a nice day on the farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of fall festivals, the Southern Maryland Sunflower Festival, can you talk a little bit about what one could expect when they come to that?
Sure. So we have 6 acres of sunflowers, and for one admission, you get to come in, and there are food vendors, there are craft vendors as well, there are music of all kinds, and you get to pick as many sunflowers as you can carry.
Yeah.
And that's all included in your price. We have a face painter as well.
So it's a good family fun activity for all.
Oh, for sure.
So Franklin, what other amenities do you have here at the farm?
Well, we do have a converted tobacco barn that we do rent out for parties, weddings, receptions, and that sort of thing. We also have our Harvest House, which is our on-farm store where we sell farm-raised beef, pork, and lamb, which we raise here on the farm. We do tours throughout the year by appointment, and especially during the spring and the fall for school tours, and we do homeschoolers, we do elementary school, high school, and we can tailor it to the group. So if they want maybe a little bit more history, we can do that. If they're just really coming out to learn more about agriculture and the animals and the petting pen, we can do that as well.
Okay, perfect. And what is the capacity of your barn?
250.
Okay, nice size wedding and parties.
And we do have bathrooms and all the good amenities that you need, but it's not so fancy that you have to worry about spilling wine on the floor because it is a dirt floor.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. So Franklin, could you tell me a lesser known fact about the farm?
Sure. One thing that people don't know or realize is that this is where the British camped before they marched to Washington during the War of 1812. 4,300 British troops actually stayed here in August of 1814, and you can imagine how hot it was. And then they had to march to Washington, D.C., where they burned the White House, the Capitol, Navy Yard, and the Supreme Court. And then they marched back here, got on their ships, and went to Baltimore, where ultimately they were defeated. But not a lot of people realize that. Plus, we are also on the Civil War trails because we are directly across from Camp Stanton, which is also something that's not really known, and that was the training ground for the United States colored troops during the Civil War. They weren't there for very long, but it's a very historic place, and it is owned by DNR, so it is open to the public. But there's no visitor center or anything like that. We do, maybe not such an exciting little known fact, but we do consider ourselves a visitor center for this area of the county. We do carry brochures and study guides and that sort of thing. So if anybody's in this area, please stop by, and you're welcome to avail yourself of all of that material.
And so this is definitely a very historical site. Thank you for that segue. International Underground Railroad Month is coming up. So can you talk about the site that you have here that relates to that?
Yes, certainly. So one thing that we discovered back in the 1980s, but it wasn't really explored until about 2012, is our historic, the St. Nicholas Creek Burial Ground. And that is the resting place for 23 enslaved individuals, dating between 1790 and 1810. So connected with that is the story of two gentlemen who actually tried to run away in the 1780s. And we actually have the advertisement by Charles Somerset Smith, who was the owner of this property at that time, seeking them, paying a reward for them, and describing them in great detail. But they did try to get over to the Eastern Shore. And I just find it amazing to read that advertisement, to pull out the skills that they had, that they crossed the Chesapeake Bay in a canoe of all things. Wow. And they took with them some of the enslaved from Maxwell Hall. So unfortunately, they did not escape. They were caught and brought back. But that is our Underground Railroad sort of story. Granted, it was kind of before, it was certainly before Harriet Tubman's time, but I think it really shows the desire for freedom. That no matter what time you're talking about, this was an unnatural way to enslave people. And
is that site accessible to visitors?
It is, certainly by appointment, because it's over on another part of the farm, and we just like to make sure we know who's on here for liability reasons and that sort of thing. But we do not charge for that, and if people want to bring a group, that's wonderful. And we usually ask that they make a donation to the Farm Heritage Conservancy, who takes care of the burial ground for us. And it is actually, fairly recently, an official Charles County historic site.
And can you talk about the story about how it was uncovered?
Yes. So where it sits, there was a small tenant house there. Now, in 1982, I believe, they were digging a new water line to this house, and they accidentally turned up a skull. So, kind of not knowing what to do, we stopped, kept the skull, wrapped it up, put it in the closet, and time kind of went on. So in 2012, Dr. Julie Schlebitsky of the Maryland Department of Transportation and her crew were here looking for remnants of the War of 1812, the British encampment. So at that time, a derecho came through and took down the tree and the tenant house. So the universe cleared it for us to make way for us to explore the site. So she became very interested in it. And so 2 years of study and a voluminous report, we know what these people ate, kind of their health situation, how many there are, men, women, and children, and how many, and most importantly, perhaps, the time that they date from, which unfortunately we don't know each specific name for each grave, but we do have probate records to let us know who were enslaved on this plantation at that time. So more than likely, some of them are there, and we do a special ceremony, which I call Remembering the Names, at the end of our tours, to honor these people and to remember them. Yeah, and I've taken your tour. It's very powerful, and you have markers there to honor each of those people. And I love that you've kept it very natural looking, as it would have back then. Thank you. So you've done a great job with that, and I'd like all visitors to come to Serenity Farm and to learn more information about that. Is there anything else you would like to share with our visiting audience? I don't know, just to let you know that you're welcome. Our motto here is you're welcome anytime. And please come and see us. And thank you so much for being here today. You're welcome. And do you have social media or website information? We do. So our website is Serenity Farm at Benedict, the actual word at, serenityfarm@benedict.com. And we can also follow us on Facebook using that same acronym. So follow us. We try to post as much as going on, and when we get new meat in the harvest house, or if there's something special going on, we post that on our website as well as on our Facebook. And our companion organization, the Farm Heritage Conservancy, a nonprofit, farmheritageconservancy.org.
Franklin, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yes.
For more things to do this fall, visit our website at explorecharlescounty.com. I would like to wish you a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. It's always a great time to explore Charles County.